This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Wanted to go over this edit that I did a couple days ago. Skittles, slow motion, falling, camera, drop, edit, my last video. If you've not seen it yet, you can just watch this video. You don't even need to watch that one because I'm gonna show it to you in this a bunch of times. Just a 10-second piece, made it for TikTok primarily. A lot of the beauty of this comes from the sound and the sound mix. I use Epidemic Sound for all of these effects. Most of the time my camera wasn't even recording sound because I was using S&Q mode on the A7S III, so all of this had to be added in post. Gonna go over it, dissect it, break it down a little bit here. Right here in the beginning, this is actually just on-camera sound. I was nervous because in the gas station there was music playing. I was afraid it would pick up, but my mic was close enough to it that the crinkling of the bag came through. The cash register sound, I don't know if you've ever heard that, depending on how old you are, but that was added in. So that one's called Cash Register 9, and just use like the very beginning of it. It's a much longer sound effect than that. Then I start to bring in a bunch of sound effects. You can see all of them here. First one that you hear is this whoosh sound, which I think really brings you into that slow motion effect. So this is whoosh 40. For me, that just screams slow motion. It sounds like time slowing down. Then there's this breath spiritual 2. Then, because the sound of me pouring the Skittles into my hand wasn't in S&Q mode, I had that sound of them clicking onto my hand. So I let that play throughout the entire video. It sounds like this. You'll notice that that is slowed down. So if I hit Command R on this, you'll see it starts at 100% and then slowly slows down to 20%. That's using Shift B. So that's how you create that effect. You hit Shift and B and then you're able to speed ramp in Final Cut, which wasn't always the case. And then we also have this electrical hum 3. I originally just brought that in because I wanted the light to have a sound, but I ended up leaving it throughout the entire piece because, again, I felt like it kind of screamed slow motion for some reason. When we cut to this more industrial scene, I had a jackhammer come in. Then the next scene has a car in it, so I have a car passing by. Then started to get really crazy, add a little monster breath in here. Then at the end, I added in 2 more breaths. One's called Breath Inhale Exhale 2. I added that again, and then Breathe Female. Something about the breath in slow motion just really kind of almost gives you like the goosebumps. That was the feeling I was going for. Also had a river forest in for when I'm on top of the water, on top of the bridge. Then you hear the speed ramp as it cuts back to me in the office, pouring the Skittles into my mouth. Again, you can see I used Shift B to transition. The key with this is, by default, preserve pitch is on in Final Cut. So if you come up here to this little module that lets you change retiming settings and click it and go down and deselect preserve pitch, you're gonna hear the speed ramp in a way that sounds more like time, either slowing down or speeding up in this case. Before I tell you about the method of speed ramping for this video, let me tell you about the sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is your all-in-one website designing platform. Templates are fantastic. You can look professional without having to understand coding. That's very important. You're gonna be able to create contact forms to collect people's information so that you can stay in touch with them. Your portfolio is gonna look awesome, whether you're linking in videos or putting pictures up there. You can easily create a blog and update it. Squarespace is it. If you wanna try it out for free, go to squarespace.com/CodyWarner, and then when you're ready to buy, use the code CodyWarner to get 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace, thanks again. When it comes to color grade, I just threw this Sony date night LUT that I created a long time ago when Amber and I went on a date on there, and then I dropped the mix of it. I kept the mix of it at half, so you can see it looks a lot different when it's not on there. This is kind of like a bluey, glowy LUT. All of these are speed ramped using that method Shift B to kind of transition the speed instead of just quick cuts on the speed. So if I hit Command R on all of these, you'll see that it starts at normal, goes down to 37. This one starts at 400, goes down to 100, speeds back up to 1075. Then this one starts at 434, down to 100. Those two first slow motion shots are in 120 frames per second. These second two are in 240 frames per second, just because I wanted it to be slower, even though that's only 1080. I thought it worked fine, even with the crop for TikTok. And that's how I did it.